leaving the water, the breeze has kicked in hard from the northeast now, so it should be interesting. With us again today is Olivia Price, silver medalist from the London Games, and first appearance out in the camera cat, Matt Stenner, who's recovering from injury. Pro sailor these days on the world tour, World Match Racing Tour. So great to have you guys out again. So Olivia, what's your take on this weather? What's happening here?
It's been developing quite weirdly this morning. It was kind of in the northwest just before all the boats started to launch, and it was below 10 knots, I'd say. At the moment we've seen gusts of up to 20 from the northeast. There's a couple of clouds around which are affecting the breeze, I think. It's not a true nor'easter as we know it, but who knows what's going to happen over the course of the day. I think it's going to be really interesting. The top mark's going to be a bit of fun, but I think that all in all, I think the boats are going to go for a good ride today.
And Matt, good to have you out.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Car shunt the other day, that was no good.
Yeah, had a head on Nielsen Parkway. It was interesting, but we're still here, we're still live, so just keep on keeping on. Happy to be out here on the camera cat, just hanging out, so it'd be good.
And a lot of water going out of the harbour, a fair bit tighter.
Yeah, it was quite a high tide this morning, so there's going to be a lot rushing out, so it's going to be interesting to see how if it gets bumpier as the day goes on. As Liv was saying, it's only just turned proper nor'east, so it might take a while for it the chop to build, but I think it's going to get pretty bumpy as the day goes on. So
you've got a gauge on the start line, this much east, and I don't see a lot of bias in the line. Maybe the boat's going to be the favoured end today.
Yeah, I'd think so. I'd want to start up at the boat end. I think it is a little bit further right than just a nor'east course. But obviously, I think you got to head over to that Bradley's Head as you do each race in a nor'easter. So let's see how it pans out. We're inside the start sequence, and boats are racking up, and here we go.
just want to give a quick shout out to Sam Ellis's grandparents, Mimi and Ray. Thank you for watching each week, and see you again soon.
Where are you going,
Matt? I'm not going anywhere yet, but you never know. Keegan's on port doing something stupid as usual.
Finport just tacking onto starboard at the leeward end there.
So Keegan's normally, Matt's normally, okay. Oh, hang on, we've gone to AP.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it's about actually. We've got Ilve would have missed the start. All the others were okay. I just don't know whether they're possibly going to do a readjustment of this line. I'm not seeing anybody rush to pull the pin up at this stage, so I'm not exactly sure what that's all about.
Yeah.
So we'll have to stand by, and a few of them will have a little test run up here and gauge how it would have panned out for them. Not many actually, just Smeg, Noakes, Del Zotto. Okay, AP down.
Getting straight back into it.
Yeah, so I don't know, that might have been a, I don't know, it could have been for Ilve, or maybe it could have been kind, or they might have had an issue on board the race committee boat.
Yeah, it could be a technical thing.
So tell some of the World Tour stuff you're doing, Matt.
So this year we made it through the finals, which ended up in China. We went to China, started really well. We came up against Phil in the quarterfinals. Phil Robertson, ranked number 1, and we had him. The score ended up being 3-2. He just beat us in the end, so we ended up being 5th in the world at the end of all that. But it was a good year. We started off in Perth, then went to Sweden, Chicago, then ended up in China. So yeah, it was a great year to start with Harry Murray on our team down under racing. So hopefully we get to do it all again next year.
Yeah, cool. And is Phil he was a reigning world champion, wasn't he?
He's reigning world champion, but this year, no, sorry, not reigning world champion. This year, Torvar Mirsky took it off him.
Oh, did he?
In the final. So yeah, it was down to the wire. It was 3-2 again. They went up 2-2 to the last race, and yeah, Torvar got him in the end.
Yeah, right.
They both sailed incredible in the conditions that they had. It was light and fluky and very interesting. So credit to them both.
Yeah, right. All right.
But next year should be a different story.
When does that all kick off again?
We're thinking around March.
Okay, not far away.
No, so we've already got our boats in Sydney training, so
Yeah.
we're very excited about that.
And so who's your training partners? Do you get involved with that, Olivia?
I'd like to. Hopefully Harry's listening, but yeah, I think they have a really good group of boys and girls that they get on board and swap around, and bringing up a lot of the youngsters as well to help, run the business side of it as well.
Yep.
So just trying to get out on the water as much as possible, I think.
Yeah, good.
One of the boats is out of action still, but the other one goes around the harbour.
Was it a bit of a crash, was it?
A little bit of a mishap.
Oh, no.
Slingsby, ask Slingsby how that
Robbing's
went.
racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the breeze is really up and down here.
Yeah.
I think we're sitting in, maybe 10 knots, and further up the course I'd see maybe 15 all the way up the top. So it's really pulsing coming in and out.
As you said, getting a bit more cloud cover now, and when that cloud cover came in, but very patchy. It's going to be, I think it's going to be quite tricky. I think maybe the Eastern Shore may come into play for a few of them once they get further up the harbour, get in towards Nielsen Park perhaps.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see what all these guys opt for. At the moment, the top boat, in our recollection, is, or in our opinion probably, is Smeg, given how long they've been campaigning and been at the front and been, state, national and JJ World Series champions. A lot of new blood this season. Scotty Babbage, who's just finished his stint working for Team Japan in the America's Cup. He's steering the Kitchen Maker this year, so won many championships on the Mighty 7 on the sheet, but now having a drive, so expect him to get better and better. Just trying to work out where everyone is. Okay, everyone's sitting back. So we get to do all this again.
They all want the boat, which, as Liv said, it's going to be the pick, I'd say, being this east nor'easter.
So yeah, they've got a pretty clear passage at this stage in terms of other racing yachts for the first part of this windward beat up towards Bradley's Head.
It certainly wasn't looking like that 10 minutes ago.
No, exactly.
There was boats everywhere. But thank God they've all cleared out.
Start line right in front of us, and then a couple of other harbour races going on, but straight up the guts it looks pretty good.
Okay, we're getting close here. All the boats are starting to rack up. You certainly don't want to be row 2 or row 3.
Definitely not.
It's a minute to go now, and I'm seeing a few of them are very late.
He is very far down the line.
Picking up on screen a little bit. Yandu looks like they're in not a bad spot.
Triple M looks like they're in a good spot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Triple M's still
they're looking good.
There.
Actually, they might get shut out there. This could be interesting.
Yeah, DeLonghi just punching through in between Lumix and Triple M. So they did a good job.
Of that.
Yep.
Ilve could have a bit on here.
So Finport's the lured boat that you can see on your screen there. Furthest down the pin end at the moment.
19 seconds to go. Asko's locked out. They're squeezed. I don't think they're going to find enough room in there.
No, they're going to struggle in there.
Yeah.
Fintech's going to look like they have a good start. Same with Smeg and Rag and Famish Hotel.
Yep.
Keegs is reaching off down the line. Don't know why.
Kitchen Maker put the hammer down. Okay,
And there we go.
clear start.
Here we go.
So let's punch out here a little bit and let's pick up. We're on the drone at the moment.
So DeLonghi's quite punched to windward here. Kitchen Maker is going, is the leeward boat there that's punched forward. Who else? We've got Noak Sailing, Smeg.
Vintech's in the mix.
Yeah, Vintech pulled the trigger just a little bit too late. Just got.
Well, I don't know what Finport and Keegan were doing. They had a perfect spot on the line and they bore away at the last second, so that was pretty silly.
Yeah, it looked like they were maybe just 5-10 seconds early and didn't catch it until everyone else wasn't going really.
We can blame Gus Bus for that one.
I can't pick up Smeg inside that pack.
They're in the middle, just
Oh,
for
there they are.
those.
Sorry. Yeah.
They look quite comfortable there.
Yeah.
Good speed, good height, no one around them. They've just put the hammer down and off they go.
Yeah. See, they're starting to advance over Vintech a little bit, but
Yeah.
Vintech's getting compromised by Rag and Famish.
Yeah.
But the Kitchen Maker's the one, but they need to.
They've just got to find a lane out now.
Well, that's it. They've got to hit the afterburner now to get enough room to get that tack in
Exactly.
and still cross.
No,
So-
Stanley's got a problem here with their jib. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's come off from the top.
Yeah,
Noak Sailing.
it has indeed, Matt.
That's frustrating.
Yep.
They were in a really good position
Yeah,
there.
they were going to have a crack of a race.
That's a capsize job or a go home.
That's it's depending, but at the moment it's a capsize. Definitely check it. It's
Yeah.
not worth wasting a day. Finport's actually pushing out quite low to leeward there. They were well back, so they're doing all right.
They're going to have to wait for Rags to tack.
Exactly. But with this easterly breeze, they actually might end up on the not as far in as the Bradleys.
Exactly.
Usually do,
It's-
so
yeah.
it might actually be okay going in there.
Yeah. Well, the Kitchen Maker will get it to the point, and there was a guy as I was a kid said to me in a nor'easter, if you can lay Bradleys, you want to go to the eastern shore afterwards, up
Exactly.
at Nielsen.
Exactly.
So I reckon my
Yeah,
Yeah.
just on the right hand side of your screen there, DeLonghi's really high and fast. Tack and cross.
Yeah, exactly. Tack and cross is going to be good. Well, they've gone past the point. I think they're gonna. There's a lot of east pressure here, so.
So Kitchen Maker's just getting set up to go for a tack here. And there they go.
Finport stacked out early. Not a bad option, but
I think
Kitchen
it was
Maker.
their only option, Matt.
Yeah, it was. Had Australia in the way.
Yeah. So Kitchen Maker's on port, lifted, meet point with Smeg. Yeah, they're having to duck Smeg.
Good on them though. That was a good
Oh,
effort.
and
yeah.
then having to duck Lumix as well. That's going to cost them a little bit.
Rag and Famish has just tacked off the point there. They're going to have to take Lumex's stern as well. DeLonghi's actually looking really nice here. They've got a really good high line. They might even cross into Chowder Bay here. So they could be going a long starboard tack, which is going to be huge gains compared to the guys that are tacked out early. Panasonic's not far to leeward of them, so.
No, that's exactly right, and it's not very often that you actually see that where the boats cross all the way across Bradley's Head and get up into Taylor Bay.
Exactly.
And as you said, no tax for DeLonghi so far, so that's just been worked out really well for them.
Yeah, so Smeg's had to take three sterns, not take three sterns, but they've gone behind three starboard tackers.
And
so,
they're going to have to take another three.
There we go.
Three here, Matt.
so the guys that are gone on the guys that are going into the east actually aren't looking that bad. We might be able to get a shot on screen soon. Finport has gone right the way across, and they're quite low, but when they tack back, they're going to be on quite a high line. Asko's done the early tack, and they're actually looking like they're going to cross in front of DeLonghi here, so I think it's a day we're going to have to get east and stay east.
Yeah, it's definitely rotating right as you get further up the harbour here. Bit more breeze on as well, so making apparent speeds a little bit easier to get through. Asko is looking really good. I think they're, there's like 100 metres to windward of DeLonghi, and if DeLonghi were to tack now, they'd be aiming way behind Asko's stern.
Yeah, with you there, Liv. That's a huge gain. So DeLonghi's keeping going into Tower Bay there, so they might be able to use the tide, or the tide's running out. So yeah, Asko's using the tide to their full advantage. So they might be able to have some slight gains off the point in there, but we'll just see how we go.
Well, I mean, for me, you'd be going as far as you can into that point at Taylor Bay, tacking, and then hitting Steel Point.
Yeah.
That would be sort of my feeling if I was in their shoes. But as you said, the guys on the left are looking pretty good at the moment.
Well, in saying that, Smeg tacked out after Finport, and they've had to duck Finport's stern. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the guys in the east compared to the west go.
Yeah, it really isn't super stable at the moment. So on your screen, we're just following Asko and Noakes Youth on starboard, heading into Taylor Bay, DeLonghi down to Leeward still. They still haven't had to tack, so there's obviously a lot of right-hand shift in it. With DeLonghi is Ilvi, Kitchen Maker, Triple M, Panasonic Lumix, and then you're going to have to compare them to Smeg and Vintac and Finport out on the right.
So yeah, tacking in these boats is a huge thing, as we know from the past. So DeLonghi not having to tack early has just been a big gain, but if they're on the wrong side of the track, it might not help them. But we've just got to see how we go in the next cross. So DeLonghi's just tacking now. You might be able to see him on the left-hand top of the screen.
And Noakes that we just had in picture then, they're going to actually, I think they might cross DeLonghi here.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit right, a little bit east, and maybe a little bit better pressure perhaps than DeLonghi.
Yeah, they look like they're bending in there as they're going into the point there, so we'll just see how it goes for a second.
It's very close, isn't it?
So Asko just crossed ahead of DeLonghi. They're going further into the point. Noakes Youth is, I think they're going to cross DeLonghi.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's going to happen. So right-hand side, or middle right so far, is winning out.
Well, we won't be able to see them, but on our right, Finport is doing a great job of staying high and staying in that east pressure. But it looks like Asko have come out of that point very high. They've got a lot of left-hand shift on this side of the course. Just got to see how it goes as they go across back into maybe the east shore.
So Noakes Youth just forced DeLonghi to tack back onto starboard, and then they've now under-tacked Asko and heading over to Watson's Bay, really.
Well, the next problem that they're going to have is they've got a ferry in front of them, so they've got to go balls to the wall and cross the ferry, or tack back and go back to the left.
Absolutely, and I think Noakes Youth, got on a shot, yes we do, has got enough, but Asko does not. Asko will have to go back. Kitchen Maker will not cross, they will have to go back.
Exactly.
Asko, Noakes Youth, they're good. They're coming up to engage with Finport on the Kitchen Maker being bounced back, but we'll start heading over to the right a bit, I think, with this right-hand pack.
Well, I think as long as they can get around that big cat there, if you can see on screen, they're going to have a good chance of being the top couple here.
So we just saw Finport cross Noakes Youth, and as they've just disappeared behind the ferry, so I think that there was maybe 2 boat lengths in that one.
Yeah.
So Finport coming up with the goods.
Come on, Gus Bus, put it in, son. So Finport's got the new boat this year. Keegan's been really good at putting it all together. We've got it. Last year, Nick Daly, big mast, the big main. And this year we've got a brand new lure rig from Nick Daly as well, so we'll just see how it goes. At the moment, from when I've sailed it this year, it's been super quick, so hopefully they're sail smart with the super quick rig.
So Finport just crossed DeLonghi, and what you can see on your screen is the Finport is on starboard and Asko on port. Looking pretty close, but Asko crosses ahead. Finport continuing on into the left. Not sure how much further you want to be going into this.
Gus just pointed out the path. They're about to attack here. Here they go.
There we go.
I reckon they've gone a little bit too far, but they've come out with pressure. They're going to get into one, but they've just got to get back to the other side, I think.
Yeah, I think the this pressure is a lot lighter up this end on the western shore. I think there's more pressure in the east, but it's just so up and down. This is definitely flicking around. So my thing of, you know, having to go to Nielsen Park, I don't know if that's necessarily right now. It was good true for a little while, but not. But now it sort of seems to have gone left again. Look how high we're on Finport. They're quite lifted on. Look, really lifted on port tack.
Yeah, they're nearly north pressure in here.
So you can't see it on your screen, but I just want to reiterate the point that it is really left-hand shift up here. So Noakes Youth went over to Nielsen Park, standard nor'easter, and I think that they've lost a lot. I'd say a couple of 100 metres. It's not your standard day out here, guys, so plenty more action to come. So Finport and Asko. So Asko's crouched down the top right-hand side of your screen. They're crouched. Finport's having to crouch now too. So it is a lot lighter. I do see a little bit more pressure coming to Finport in about 10. And then up in Watson's Bay, there may be a little bit of friction holding through there.
Well, if you look at the quality sailing clothing, they are quite high on starboard tack there. So I think the further they go into Watson's Bay, the further right it's going to get. So it's really one of those days where you just got to pick a shore and play the shore.
And it appears that there's definitely more pressure in the right now than there was on the left.
Definitely. So they've actually got a lure rig in, so they've been very ballsy to put that in. So at the moment, they've been sailing very smart, and they've obviously done a good job. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go on the downwind run.
Matt, did you notice if they're the only ones with the little one in? Yeah,
they're the only ones. They're the only ones with the little rig in, so it's a huge call. I mean, for when we first got out here, it looked quite fresh, and we're all getting a bit nervous, saying, geez, it's going to be a big day with the big rig, but it's going to be interesting now. If they can hold on. The Keeg is bendy here, it's not going to like that.
So Asko's just flopped over onto starboard, and you can see they're crossing Finport here. Nice little right-hander for them. They've stepped their way into the pressure. They had to suffer through a bit of a light patch, as we were saying before, but they're looking pretty nice now. More pressure coming down the course from the heads.
From the right-hand side, yeah. DeLonghi's hung in there. They've done a few extra tacks, I think, up the middle there, but they've definitely should be around 4th or 5th around the top here if they can stay in the pressure. So is there anyone over to our left? Is it on screen? No.
Yeah, Asko's just looking really comfortable here.
Asko's been doing quite a bit of training over the last couple of weeks. I've seen them down at Manly when we're sailing the 16. They've taken up the whole rigging park to put their big 18 together.
And I actually noticed then, I was just watching that last little sector of the beat, Asko appeared to be a bit more proactive in picking the shifts and the pressure and doing a few more tacks than the other guys.
Yeah.
And they've just done an absolutely wonderful job of hooking up the dots and moving them to the front so far.
But so there's a big angle difference between Asko and Finport in this group on our right here. Like Keegan's quite high coming to the top, and it looks like Asko's about to go into a bit of a righty here. as they come across. So it's going to be really interesting to see who gets across at the top.
So I'd say we've got about 12 knots up here at this top mark. So pretty manageable for the big rig. We might have Quality Marine Clothing suffer a little bit here. They're the furthest right boat just out of your screen, but they're the furthest right boat that we've got on the course at the moment. So they're in the good pressure, but I'm not sure if the rig choice is going to help them.
It's going to be a long day with little rig. Oh, so as we just saw, Asko has crossed Finport, DeLonghi and Noakes Youth. They've done a stunning job to keep at that spot. I would have thought they would have been behind those three, so they've done an absolute pearl of a job there.
So just to on the left-hand side, we've got Kitchen Maker that just crossed DeLonghi. So they worked the left-hand side and have, are sitting in fourth at the moment. So yeah, as Matt said, pick a shore and play it.
The Kitchen Maker looks like they're on a really tight lay here, so this could, if they get there, they're gonna, oh no, they're just knocked. So, well, still, if they can get there, they're gonna be in at least third or fourth, but if they're gonna have to do two tacks, I reckon Noakes Youth and Lumex might actually get them, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Oh, they've just tacked, and they're gonna be in front of DeLonghi, so they've done well. Go on, Keith,
Asko round first. Finport in second. You missing it, Matt?
Not really.
No, not this stage.
No, not so far so good, I think.
So Quality Marine Clothing has just rounded in third.
With the little rig, that is impressive.
With the little rig. Then we have DeLonghi and Kitchen Maker to windward.
Go Sam.
Noakes Youth.
Smeg's having a bit of trouble there. They're going to be interested if they're going to lay on this mark. They might be touching the mark as they go around.
Yeah, well, that's not their usual spot, is it?
No. They're normally a couple more in front.
Yeah, all very mid-fleet with Triple M, Panasonic. Vintech got really damaged halfway up the beat, and they're sort of down sort of towards the rear of the this pack.
That Dan
Del Zotto next.
Del Zotto. Oh.
Okay, I don't know if it's
their
on
halyard,
shot, but
Quality Marine Clothing has had their halyard stuck around their windward spreader. They must have put the kite down the wrong side. That has hurt them quite a bit. They've gone from third to at least sixth.
There we go. It finally pops, but it's certainly not going to help them having the smaller rig in.
There goes Woody around the mark. Rag and Famish, they were going well to start with, but they've dropped back. They must have just missed a couple of shifts that the front guys got.
Ilvi rounding.
Ollie Hardest not there today. Got Pedro on the back. Should be a good day.
Vintech just struggled a little bit there to get their kite up. A couple of may have caught a couple of fish early on, but we're back up now.
And with this much east in the breeze, they're going to struggle to get around Shark Island.
Well, if we can see right down the course on the screen, Asko and Finport, I've absolutely just been mapped away. They're about 30 degrees down from where they have to be going, so it's going to be interesting. Gus is going to get upset if you have to drop the kite more than once, so good luck, Gus. And Harry Bethway, come on, son, put it up. Smeg, they're looking like they can come back from that spot. There's not a huge gap there, so we'll just see how we go. So Keegan's just put his bow up there, so he could be able to make it. Normally, Keegan's got a bit of weight on him, so as long as he swings it properly, he'll be fine. Sorry, Jody.
Yeah, so they are rotating up a little bit, although now you're looking at Keegan's bow and it's well down.
Line 7 actually could have a blinder here. If they don't have to drop a chute and they can just get round the point, they're going to be away, but I really doubt they're going to be able to go upwind with that kite. So
it is a bit hard to go upwind with the kite, Matt.
Yeah.
Tried it before.
No, it's no M32 with the Jenica.
But the thing is, a lot of these, some of these mid-fleet and more at the back have got a different pressure than what the leaders got.
Yeah.
And they're potentially looking to have to drive. I don't think Smeg at this stage, unless they get some really good breeze.
Well, Triple M's just hooked into something there.
Yeah, they're going to need it to get away from that point
Exactly.
at Nielsen Park. Otherwise, you know, that's going to really damage them if they have to put in 2 drives.
But in saying that, how east it is, being on that point's not going to be a bad thing, because if they can hug the point and keep coming up and around, they might be able to get height on the guys below and maybe overtake them. So we'll just see how we go.
Well, the thing is, not picking it up, we're not there on the leaders, but just to let you know, they're struggling to lay Shark Island, and they could be looking to drop. I think Asko will have to drop their chute for sure. Finport trying to hang in there, and if that's right, and as what you're saying, if Smeg can get enough pressure to keep going, well, you're not going to drive away from there, that's for sure.
No way, not from there. The Triple M's just got past the point, Lumex got past, Yandu, Dan Otts, they all just got past, so so Keegan on the Finport has just been mapped once again, so Gus Bus is going to be fuming if he has to drop it. So
He's definitely going to have to drop it, Matt.
I don't think he can save it from there. So.
No. Yeah, so you got Noakes Youth just trying to get up there and lay it. DeLonghi is out in front, and the Kitchen Maker up to the left are looking good to lay the mark. Noakes Youth is just a little bit too far down to leeward than that other pack, so they may struggle there, but at the moment DeLonghi, Kitchen Maker, Smeg, Quality Marine Clothing, and then the rest of the pack actually have got left-hand breeze and are sailing a lot higher than what Asko and Finport had to do. Yeah,
they've had totally different pressure there, so they are actually still on a kite, and they're aiming towards a mark. Keegan's going downwind, and so is downwind with no spinnaker, and reaching, so is Asko, so it's going to be interesting. Here goes, look at Kitchen Maker. Oh, they've had a big one.
That's a big pressure there. Yeah. That's a big pressure.
Looking behind, we're on Finport now. They're going to get this pressure in a sec. They're going to be away, so as long as they can hold it together for this part, they'll be right on Asko's tail. Something's happened to Smeg. I think they've gone in backwards, but they're up right now, so they're going again.
Yeah, they just hooked into this big pressure.
Kitchen Maker behind us is dropping a chute. DeLonghi's done the same thing.
Noakes Youth are in no pressure. They're into windward.
Looking on the screen here, we've got the Kitchen Maker and DeLonghi still dropping. Finport's already got their chute away. They're reaching towards the mark. So it's going to be interesting to see if Asko can extend far enough here. With a windward set, it's going to be hard for them. Same with Finport and the rest of the fleet that had to drop. The windward set is not pretty.
Yeah, so Asko's just got a chute as they round Shark Island.
They're away.
Next is Finport.
Oh, the Hallied stuck around the back of the jib. Go, Gus, come on. Okay. Finport's away again. Yes, we can, hopefully.
Okay, so just to recap, Asko actually got a good gain across the island there, did a better job of managing the drop and the reset than Finport. Finport second. Kitchen Maker, Scotty Babbage has done well. DeLonghi, Simon Nern, really, he's made ground from my recollection. Smeg has got away from that sort of barking pack that he was in, and he's up into 5th place and clean. Lee Napton and the boys. Next
setting up for a jibe here.
Yeah.
There you go. They're going to go for early jibe, but I'm not sure if that's going to be
an
interesting option. I thought with it today being so east, you want to go right down the point and try work the ships in the middle.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, but maybe Lee's seen something. It's very puffy in this corner. Maybe Lee's just seen something.
Well, here comes Noakes Youth. Just gone around the mark on the screen here. Noakes Youth and Triple M. Done a great job to hang on here for the young teams here.
So that was a very tricky beat, and not all that straightforward for some of these guys down this first run.
No. So Triple M's gone for the early jibe as well, which is, well, Lee's done all right going through the middle there, but Yandu has not jibed yet. I think they're all going to go down to what we said was right to the bricks and then to the mark, I would assume, the way they've all set up here. Dan Oddie just jibed. Fintex, they've jibed on the mark, as we can see on the screen here. Ilve has jibed on the mark as well. Rag and Famish Hotel has gone a bit further than jibed. Sal Clothing Marine has jibed on the outside of the pack.
They did suffer a little bit through there, didn't they, Matt?
Yeah, they were looking good early when it was going to be a shy reach, but if they had to get it away, it was always going to be a struggle for them. Ash is taking off here. Ilve's about to get the path. Poor Quality Marine is just going to get rolled by all the big rigs. The Rag and Hotel, just at the behind this pack, they've got a little private puff there. Down they come. They're going to hit a hole, but as long as they can keep this puff through this to lure of the pack, they might be all right. I think, I didn't see down the bottom, but I'm not sure if they had to jibe down the bottom. If they, oh no, they haven't gone down the bottom
yet.
yet. So, depending on where the mark is, I think they're going to lay quite easily. So,
yeah. So the front packs actually come together a little bit here. Smeg just jibed. Kitchen Maker just jibed.
The mark's actually in the middle of the island, so it's a bit hard to see from the mark. So hopefully Asko and Keegan and the front group, they all don't go too far. Smeg's seen it early. They've done the early jibe, which is the correct thing to do. But I think the skippers are going to try to set all their bowmans up with a jibe drop down the bottom, which is a much better option considering they've already done one extra drop than what they have to do.
Yeah, so Mark is just on the bow of Kitchen Maker now. Asko having to drop early now.
So this is really closed up. These guys have all come back together. We thought we were at the last mark. Asko had a good lead over Finport, and then they were well ahead of the others. Now this is a traffic jam.
Exactly.
And DeLonghi doing a jibe drop, handling it. Smeg coming in. They've made
Asko's in the piss, and they're gone.
They're gone. Is there enough room to get in between Asko and the mark? Finport slips through into first.
Kitchen Maker's second if they can get around. DeLonghi should be in third. They've got the kite nearly stashed away. Smeg's kite's away. They're going to be around in fourth.
And Smeg's got to slow down to get that gap in between Asko and the mark. Otherwise, I would have hit DeLonghi.
Yeah.
So that's just really closed this whole thing up, and we've got a super boat race going on right at the front between four boats.
Well, Lee's come out of the mark and gone for a low groove to try clear his air, but Keegan's sticking high so he can at least keep a loose cover on the four boats. It's going to be tough for him to stay in front with such close boats behind him. What would you do in this situation, Liv? Would you try cover all four? Would you pick one or two, or what would you do?
You got to stick to your guns. Finport, you're in the absolute ideal place. No one's tacking off. Everyone's following you. You're sailing high, and you're sending it as far as you can go, I reckon.
Exactly. No excuse, just rounded bottom. So is Triple M. Harry, give a wave to the camera if we get there again. He's doing a great job of putting it away while it's on its side. There you are. Hi, Harry. Triple M just round the bottom. Panasonic, it's just coming in with Yandu just on their tail. So
nice clean rounding for Lumix, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, the tack was in the water there. Could have been interesting.
It could have been, but all clear.
All clear. Nathan Edwards did a great job.
Yandu just coming up.
Asko nearly going to do a Russian roll here. No, Harry Bethwaite saved it. Did a great job. Oh no. On up, saved it. Good stuff, boys.
What's it going to do, Matt? Yeah. What's it going to do? So Vintech, Ilvi, Del Zotto, Quality Marine Clothing.
Come in for the jibe drop. Great manoeuvre. Asko's finally up and they're going. So Ilvi's just having a couple tack issues there. with the Rag and Famish Hotel coming just inside them. Great rounding from those guys. So as long as they can hold their groove, they should go right in the pack. They had a nice tight rounding, and a couple around the bottom they had a couple loose ones. So good to see how we go.
This breeze is well right down at the bottom here, so it's one of those things same as last time, but it's what's happening further up the track, because all of these boats are laying in over Bradley's head.
Kitchen Maker's having a problem up there. They're not on camera at the moment, but they've gone for a tack in a hole that's behind that big ferry or something, and they've wings in the water, and they're finally going again, so they would have lost a bit of time with that.
So out of that front four pack, Smeg was the only one that tacked off early. They're on their way towards Shark Island. As Matt said, Kitchen Maker was the next one to tack. Finport's still sailing really high. They're not going to lay the point, and they're not going to make it into that next bay like they did the first time. But I still think we've picked up a little bit of breeze here as well. It's getting a bit choppier, just adding another element to the mix.
Exactly. Lumix is on screen here. They've got a really nice groove, a nice clear air, so as long as they can put the foot down and go to this stick in the tide and go towards Bradley's, they're going to do all right with no one around them.
So up the top, Finport just tacked. So Lumix will be following them and trying to follow that line, I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds like it. DeLonghi's tacked on the point as well. They think they've gone a little bit too far and actually gone into the lee a little bit. They thought that they were a bit light out of the track. There they are on screen now, they're back and going. Should be on screen in a sec, might be Noakes Youth. They look like they're having an absolute glamour race. They're going straight into good pressure here. It does look a bit right than going to Bradley's, but I think they're going to do all right because they've just got clean air and be able to put their pace out. So Kitchen Maker here, they are heading out to the eastern side of the track, which I think is going to be a big game there. So we'll just see how we go. Smeg should come into screen in a sec. I think they're going to be just a little bit behind, or they might just miss.
Yeah, so Kitchen Maker, I think even after their not so good tack, I think they gained on Smeg. They rounded pretty close together. Smeg had to reach a little bit, as you recall. So Kitchen Maker's just done a loose cover on top of Smeg there, and sailing up on starboard.
But staying to the east of your competition today is going to be a big thing, especially if it clocks more and more into the right. So they've done a great thing there, sticking to the east of Smeg. On screen again, we've got DeLonghi and Finport heading back out to the east to try and put a loose cover over Smeg and the Kitchen Maker. I think that's a great decision, as I was just saying.
Yeah, so I'd say Finport in first, and then it's going to be pretty close between DeLonghi and Kitchen Maker.
Yeah.
I think, it depends on which ship we're in, actually.
Yeah, I've got to say.
I was going to say Kitchen Maker, but now I'm thinking DeLonghi.
So there's a couple of different modes going here. Keegan looks like he's saying a very high and fast, a high and a bit slower mode, but on DeLonghi they look like they're a bit more winged down, trying to go for a bit more speed. I don't know what mode I would like to be in at the moment. If you want to get to the right hand side, you want to go wing down and a bit faster towards it, but if you're trying to get into around the point, which Keegan might be doing, don't know why, but anyway.
So we just saw DeLonghi cross Kitchen Maker by 5 or so lengths. You know, the left had a little bit in it there. Let's see what happens at the next cross between those two, because I think they're the two closest boats we've got up the front.
So we just got Smeg on the screen here. They got a pretty good setup. They're all swinging hard. Heads are down. Doesn't look like they're all doing too much work on there. So today they've got the normal crew on. Got Lee at the back, Bridgie in the middle, and Steve at the front. So Lee's having a look over his shoulder to see whether he wants to go back or to that pressure that's in the left-hand side right up the bay. So as per usual, there's no stress on this boat, which is great to see. Lee's just doing his own thing, as usual.
Yeah, looking really comfortable there. Really smooth through the water, even over this chop that you can kind of see. Like the transitions are really quite something to look at. bit of pressure coming on them in about 10, and you'll just see how smooth they are working together as a team.
So they bladed that sail right out. You can see in the foot of the main there's not much depth in there at all, and the top of the head is just way out past the corner of the boat, so it's just perfect for this breeze. Nice to push through all this little chop.
And if you look closely, they're making micro adjustments all the time. Jibs coming on and off, trap wires going up and down, gust comes, bit of jib ease just then.
Yeah.
Matching the two sails together, boat absolutely upright, mast not moving.
Yeah. Bit of a
Little
puff
bit
there.
there.
Yeah. We've always got to have it.
Exactly. But yeah, but these guys are really good at that, all that sort of micro tunes and
The 1%ers, they're absolutely fantastic at.
exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see whether they can chip away. This breeze for me has got a little bit funky again. It's a bit different over different patches of water, and let's see if they can chip their way up to the lead, because if we remember, they were absolutely mid-pack at the top mark the first time.
They weren't deep, but they definitely weren't at the front, so we'll just see how they go. At the moment, I reckon that they're going to be tacking soon, because it looks like there's a big right-hand shift coming down the bay. So unless Lee's seen something different, which normally he does to what I see, so we'll just see how he goes.
Yeah, he's a little bit down into that point.
Yeah, when you go down at that point, you're
going to be coming back quite nicely.
See how it goes. Panning across to the Kitchen Maker and Finport here, I think.
On the right of your screen.
On the right of the screen.
Yeah, there they are.
Looking stunning as ever. Again, with Scott on the boat, they'd all be about the 1%ers, so.
Yeah, I was talking
smooth.
to Sam earlier before they went out, and they were feeling pretty comfortable with the big rig. I know there were a lot of people questioning the decision, but they're pretty heavy. They've got a lot of weight on the wire today, so you know, whether that's helped them out or not, I'm not sure. They're looking really comfortable in the right-hand pressure that just keeps filling down from Watson's Bay and the heads. Yeah. Nice little pressure coming on again in 5. They're going to have to watch out for a ferry just off to the right of the screen and make a decision if they wanted to tack. I don't know if I'd keep going too much further if I were them, but you know, they do this all the time, so they may have a better clue than I do.
And here we go, Smeg's going to come across our bow in a sec. They're going to take on the ferry here, so this is going to be interesting. The next one might have to worry about the ferry is Finport. They're quite high, but I think they're going to be able to stay to the east of it, so I think they're pretty confident they're going to cross the ferry there, so I think that's a great call. But in saying that, Kitchen Maker's just come down, which means there's a bit of left-hand pressure over this side, so they're going to go down into this point and come out. So still looking at the Smeg on the screen, they are just going behind the Longy and going to the east, so it's going to be good. Now we're back on the Smeg and us, so Kitchen Maker and us, sorry.
Yeah, so they've stuck it out to this left-hand side here. They're kind of out here by themselves. A lot of the fleet, so Finport has tacked onto port to head off back to Nielsen Park, but Kitchen Maker's sticking to their guns. Sailing high at the moment, but you know, as they get into this point, they're definitely going to come out with a nice left-hander. Hopefully lift them all the way to the mark, but
exactly.
I think we could have a couple more shifts before we get there. Just like the last upwind, that top right could be really powerful.
I think so. Looking at these guys again, they're actually up the course. It looks like there's a bit of left-hand pressure coming down. So I think they've got all their eggs in one basket here and going to go for it, which I think at this stage, Keegan is down going towards the right, which means he's going to come back on a bit of a higher angle. But these guys are going down and tacking back towards the mark and going to be on a high lefty. So it's going to be interesting to see if they gain or lose out of this.
Yeah, there's going to be a convergence at some time.
Yeah.
So Kitchen Maker just tacking. So they were in a little light patch, maybe pushed it a little bit too far, but hopefully they pop out into this nice left-hander Matt was talking about.
Phil Marshall looks like he's doing something awkward with his leg under the wing there. He's back now, but I've not seen that one for a while.
It's a new move.
That's a new move.
So just seeing DeLonghi across the bow of the kitchen maker. They stayed in the middle of the racetrack up the harbour. Nice tide assistance through there.
Yeah, great tide assistance through the middle.
And they were sailing a really nice right-hand shift all the way through. So I was actually looking at them and thinking that they'd made a pretty good decision to do that. Kitchen maker still seems down on port. It hasn't quite popped through for them, but you got to take the hits, especially on a course like this. You can't always win.
Yeah, so the wind has definitely died off a bit now on the right-hand side. DeLonghi's kind of got a little private lefty over here, so they're stretched and the kitchen maker boys are bending. So this is going to be a bit of a game changer here for the DeLonghi boys if they can piece it together.
Yeah, as you were saying, Olivia, it's really, once you're in this sort of top 5 pack, it's about really not doing anything crazy and hanging in there for the opportunities. And what's interesting is after we left, Smeg and Finport there have absolutely banged the right-hand shore, the eastern shore.
They've gone right in there.
Off Nielsen Park, and so it'll be interesting to see how all this pans out. But DeLonghi doing a really solid job as we're approaching the top mark for the second time, and then they've got the long run down to Clark Island. Don't go around Shark Island this time. So
straight to the bottom this time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see if with the light breeze getting out of the tide is going to be a huge deal, because there's probably at least a knot or two running out. So we'll just see how it all pans out. But at the moment, DeLonghi here on camera have definitely committed to going to the left, and I think it's actually not a bad call, because you've got tide underneath you and it looks like there's good pressure. The guys back on the other side of the track are looking, I wouldn't say light, but they're looking like they're bending a bit, so we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, it does look pretty light, Matt. It does look pretty light over there. So seeing DeLonghi tack onto port here. Yeah, light here too. So it's light across the course, and it looks really streaky. So you've got to pick them.
Yeah, you got to be able to pick the long lines and try to stay in them.
Yeah. So DeLonghi and Finport on complete opposite sides of the harbour right now.
DeLonghi is looking fantastic, I reckon, at the moment. Until they did that.
Until that. That's not great. All right, it's coming back for them. Just to windward, I reckon there's... oh, yeah, here we go. Big breeze on for them. Nice.
Brando's just giving us a wave there. Like, oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, not the greatest time to do that one.
No. So as I was saying, I think DeLonghi's going to do really well here. It's going to be a tighter cross if they can stay in this left-hand pressure up to the top, because Finport has going to have to sail into this left pressure at some stage. I don't think it's right all the way across.
Well, DeLonghi at this stage is crossing Smeg. But, geez, it's up and down, isn't it? It's just, as you said, it's just swirly pressure.
Yeah.
Just big holes, little gusts.
Well,
Finport, I think Finport, oh, gee.
It's got to be tight.
Up again.
It's
You just can't pick it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's like going to Vegas.
All on black.
Well, that's what DeLonghi did. They went all on black and went different to the first lap, and it's obviously paid out for them, because they were in 4th around the bottom, and now I reckon they're going to be at least 2nd or 3rd, potentially even 1st around the top here. So I think Finport's crossing.
And I just saw a little change going on in DeLonghi. I think
Board's
we've got
gone down.
Exactly. Breeze has gone light, getting that centre board down, getting a bit more riding moment out of the boat.
Yep.
A little bit more lift from the foils.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that right-hand shift paid off at the end, at the cross point. So Finport just crossed ahead of DeLonghi.
Good stuff, Gus.
They both look down. I want to say they both look down and they're on opposite tacks. So they're in separate pressures. Finport just lifted up a little bit there. I'd say, there's 10, 15 boat lengths in it for them. So a nice little gain up that last bit of the work. DeLonghi is having to suffer through this right-hand patch.
Yeah, they're going to knock all the way out until the ley line, I think.
Yeah, they're suffering. So Finport looking good here. got a bit of room up their sleeve.
Adam
Going-
Smith on the sheet, doing a great job kicking keys on the wire there, so he'd be happy not having to bend.
So just at the back of your screen, we've got DeLonghi at the meet point with Smeg and Kitchen Maker, and DeLonghi's had to duck behind. Yeah, so DeLonghi is behind Smeg and the Kitchen Maker. That left didn't pay out in the end.
No, I honestly thought they was going to do a lot better than what they did. Not taking any credit away from them, but they just got really unlucky, saying how big that righty was.
Yeah, everyone's got to take hits on this race course, but yeah, you got to try and reduce the impact of them.
I saw Smeg there giving Keegs a bit of a starboard call, even though quite far behind. Keegs would have, he wouldn't have appreciated that, but anyway.
So Finport round in first,
Go Gus.
and then Smeg in second.
With the windward sets, never an ideal set in this amount of breeze.
Yeah, it's really light here.
Yeah.
You know, under 10 knots.
This is where Lee's going to come into his own. From all that sailing he used to do and all the 16 stuff, whenever it gets this light and this fluky, he just absolutely takes off. So just watch where Lee goes from now on. And we're about to all get a sailing lesson, I think.
So there goes Kitchen Maker rounding in third. And then DeLonghi not too far behind.
Just taking the mark with them there for a sec. The yellow ones are hard, so they're very annoying to hit.
It's really light here now.
Yeah.
That changed really quickly. So any of the boats that were going up on the left-hand side of the course.
Yeah, Keegs just had to get around the boat there, put it right up in her ear. He's back in control now, so got no youth coming up to the top mark here. So as Liv's been saying, it is just dropped. It's gone down to about 6 to 8 knots, I think. I've only struggling to have 2 on the wire. So it's going to be interesting. I'd hate to be quality clothing marine today. Or quality marine clothing, sorry.
Yeah, they will be suffering.
It's going to be...
That's going to be brutal.
But no youth just got around the mark. We're just on them. The young guys dipping the wing into windward to get the cart up.
That's not fast.
No.
But quality marine clothing is going to come into shot in a second here. Considering they got second rig on, how quiet it's gone, I'm amazed that they're this far up.
They must be sounding very smart if it's this light.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they must be doing a fantastic job. Triple M just rounding the mark now. Yandu's just tacking behind quality marine clothing. Triple M's just setting.
So the question is, what's this going to do? I'm looking further up the harbour and seeing moths foiling, going very, very quick.
Yeah.
You can just see the tails of some breeze coming in through their heads. But
so I'm saying that the next shift might come out of the left. You just never know.
Yeah.
So there's quality marine clothing, pulling chute up. Another little struggle.
Well, if only got half the distance to pull it, too, up much faster than that.
You tell him, Matt.
So they're off their set, they're going. Vintex just behind them, just about to go to the mark in about 30 or 40 seconds. They'll be round and off they go. Line 7's just got Woody on their tail. It's not a great sight to see when you got the big rigs coming over the top of you. It's always a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and then just behind them is Asko. So reminder that they were leading around the bottom mark and capsized and had to pull their chute in really awkwardly.
That's
so
always a big swim.
Yeah, but they've actually done quite well to still to be in that mid-fleet kind of area. So just looking at DeLonghi and Kitchen Maker here as they're sending it downwind. Everyone's kept to this eastern side of the shore.
So looking further ahead, Keegan, I wouldn't say he's put a bit on Smeg, but he's still in front. They haven't. I would have thought they would have gone further to get a little bit more tide relief, but they're going to go back towards Bradley to try to get the pressure. So that's going to be an interesting call. Got DeLonghi there, just a little bit behind the Kitchen Maker. They're looking quite east pressure there, so they're quite aiming down the harbour. So that's good.
Yeah, so the breeze has filled in a little bit further down this end of the harbour. Looking really nice. Noakes Youth got a nice little pressure. Just had to duck that marker there. But
Fishing Buoy.
yeah, so we've got Finport and Smeg on starboard, and you're just looking at Kitchen Maker and DeLonghi jibing on top.
Very tactical jibe there. It's going to be interesting down at the bottom to see what Nerney pulls out.
Yeah, Kitchen Maker soaked quite low out of that jibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that Kitchen Maker did a better job of the jibe and the DeLonghi, but then a few seconds later it sort of went in backwards for a bit. But as you said, they've got good separation off DeLonghi, which is going to certainly help them.
They're going to have clear air all the way down, yeah. But I think maybe out of the jibe they must have lost sight of the yacht that just went past them, because I saw Sam looking under the boom trying to find it, and then Sam must have caught it, then it popped out in front and off they go again. So
yeah, so DeLonghi's in a good line of pressure there. Really low angle compared to the Kitchen Maker just on the left-hand side of the screen. So I'd be saying they're making gains. Kitchen Maker's just crouching a little bit.
they're trying to go for a lower soak mode, I'd say, but I don't know if in this amount of breeze if that's going to work. If you just want to get your apparent going, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, so just looking at Sam in the middle of the boat there.
They could also be setting up for a jibe, so you just never know.
Yeah, once Scott did choose to breathe behind on this jibe, it is just purely about hanging in there and setting up for the next one. So that's a pretty tactical decision, and you got to spend a lead to keep a lead.
Yeah, you're pretty right.
They're setting up now, the Kitchen Maker. So they jibe inside the lot. Oh, wasn't the greatest. They're going to get through, but it was a bit sloppy. But I was wondering, I was just watching that. I just wondered whether Scotty was maybe playing the changing gears thing, because they were in a little bit less pressure than DeLonghi.
Yeah. They've got the ferry here as well, so this is going to be interesting.
They're going to have to either hot right up.
Yeah, here we go.
Hot right up, or
I think they've made the right call by going the eastern side of the ferry, but it's going to be, they're going to have to, as Liv said, spend a lead to keep a lead to get around it, but I think they're pretty safe now, so.
Yeah, you can see they're safe there, but it was looking pretty head-on there for about 15 seconds. Not sure if the boys had actually realised that it was there.
They do, they're so large, but they do sneak up on you when you've got a big spinnaker in front of you. It's happened to us numerous amounts of times.
So Kitchen Maker on the left-hand side of your screen there. In about average pressure, I wouldn't say it's the best pressure on the course.
Yeah. Finport's looking real light down the bottom there. But in saying that, they've got 3 on the Y. They're just not going as fast as everyone, so don't know what's happening there. Smeg's got 3 on the Y. It's actually gone quite east down here. Lee's got his bow up. They've got 3 stringing. Trying to maybe make the mark. I'm not sure. I would say, yeah, maybe they're a bit underlaid. But I doubt it. I'm not allowed to call the layers in our boat, so. So Smeg once again looking fantastic with that red chute. They're doing a good job. They actually could nearly be going bow ahead of Keegan here, so on the Finport.
Yeah, they're definitely making gains there.
So they've got that pressure early, so just see how it pans out.
Yeah, Finport is just sailing a lot higher. I think that, yeah, as you said, Matt, a little bit of an overlay, but in these breezes, like in this breeze, you just got to sail with what you've got.
Exactly.
Now we're looking at Smeg and he's quite bow up. Give it 20 seconds and story could be completely different.
So once again, their crew work on this boat, if we just watch it, if we can get close enough, it's just going to be fantastic. The way Lee navigates through the waves and pumping on the sheet from Bridgie, and the chute working from Steve, it's going to be interesting. They've got a couple boats in front here. I think the puck is going to be an issue, same with a fishing boat in front of it, so watch how they get around.
Yeah.
And the fishing boat's moving towards them now, so this is going to be interesting. There could be a couple words exchanged here.
Oh, I think Lee doesn't sort of go in for all that sort of stuff, but
Yeah,
I think
true.
they're both going to have to jibe.
Yeah.
The mark is down. They're both
Yeah.
Finport, both the leaders, Finport and Smeg, will have to jibe again.
I'm still going to say Finport could be in front down the bottom here. There's still a bit of a gap.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Finport clearly leading.
Yeah.
And so not a lot actually changed down that run, did it? In terms of distance between boats, I don't think when they get to the bottom here.
Well, at the top, Lee gained a lot. He was right on Keegs' stern, and now I think they're back to what they rounded around the top, so it could be interesting.
Yeah, lots of snakes and ladders on this course.
Yeah, exactly.
So Finport will be coming up to lay pretty quickly here. They're just going to be setting up for a jibe. They'll make it a nice clean, well, you'd want to hope they're making it a nice clean drop.
See how Adam Minter goes. I didn't flap, don't worry, Adam, you can keep your job.
Yep, so they didn't get that close enough to be able to do a jibe drop, so they have to do a full jibe and then drop, so that's not probably ideal for them.
Oh, guys, get it out of the water.
But they're fine. There's not a lot of breeze, and they're looking very calm about the whole situation.
With their battens the wrong way. Oh, they just popped.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Gus! No.
God, I put the knockers on them. Just as I said that, and they're going to miss the mark. They're going to have to go round again. Smeg will lead here.
And they're going to be in the piss here, I think.
Look, we're out of here
They're
too.
going
We
over.
have a crash. They're gone. The sheet hand didn't hook up. The sheet hand had a problem, missed his hook, I think. And
Keegs on the wrong
nearly
side
went
of the
over.
wing. This is going to be interesting.
Oh,
As
that's
long as one of them grabs a tiller, they could be at least round third or fourth here.
yeah.
So
Smeg goes into the lead. The cool head of Lee.
DeLonghi's come back from not that far away, but they've done a great job at just monitoring this situation and putting their kite down early and just sailing into the mark. So
Yeah, so DeLonghi gained against Kitchen Maker there. DeLonghi stayed on Bradley's head, and Kitchen Maker sailed up through the middle of the course down that run. We were focused a lot on the first two and just watching them. So there's a position change there. Good on the boys in Finport. That was a really good recovery.
yeah, that just shows how powerful these boats are. You can't miss any path down the bottom mark. Showing from last one from Asko nearly going in the piss, and then Finport going in the piss, not going in the piss in that one. So these boats are still a handful in this amount of breeze.
Kitchen Maker rounding in fourth.
With the kite still
Kite
at
still
the top.
up.
Phil Marshall, come on, son.
Not fast at all.
No.
On the other hand, we've got Noakes Youth doing a very safe drop.
yeah.
The chute's already down, and it's been down, packed away.
But they've folded it and tied it back up.
Yep.
But in saying that, you were out last night with one of the crew members, yes, Liv, so he's probably done that on purpose.
Jeez, you guys are hard on your mates. God. Should
Well, they're either going to hear about it on live
what I'm going to
TV
say
or at
about
the
you
bar.
next week, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you wait,
From
Matt.
now on.
Matt, you're sailing next week, yeah?
My rib might be a bit sore.
Yeah.
Triple M coming into the bottom here, looking like they've underlaid it, so they're going to try to do a jibe drop, which helps the bowman out quite a bit. Asko's done a great job to get back to Triple M here, so just see how it goes. Bit of a sloppy one there from Triple M, but they didn't capsize, so it's always a bonus.
So it is. It has dropped a little bit down this end of the course as well. Yeah, it's really all over the place.
Yeah, it's harder to pick than a broken nose at the moment, so.
Go, Matt. But yeah, just you said that, Olivia, like out of shot, Yandu just came flying in. It's just these little micro bursts almost.
With the streaky pressure, you absolutely
Yeah,
nailed it there,
yeah.
Liv.
Nailed it.
Yandu's coming in here quite hot.
Yandu is hot and spicy.
Dawes has gone for the mild approach of getting it away early. Yeah, he learnt from the last one, so let's see how it goes. They're halfway.
Yeah, I think
they're
they got it
round.
covered.
I'm safe to say they're round.
Yeah.
Yandu's doing a
Yandu.
good job here getting it away.
Yeah.
Come on, Burger, put it away, son.
Rounding tight on that mark.
Line 7 Quality Marine Clothing has going to come in quite hot here, I think. Oh no, they picked a good layout. Take that back.
You can just see Vintech coming down on port jibe.
Setting up for a perfect jibe drop.
Yeah, gonna just jibe straight on top of marine clothing there. Oh no, they just got a puff, so they're pretty lit up. Oh, there we go. Nice and easy jibe there from Vintech.
And Lumix has they've still got their chute up there.
We can hear a bit of discussion between Vintech and Quality Marine Clothing here.
Discussing the rules.
Yeah, calmly, of course.
Yeah, always. Panasonic's got it off. Rag and Famish Hotel have caught up quite a bit, I think, so they've stashed early, decided to go for a nice early safe rounding.
Oh, they've just, yeah, given Lumix a bit of hell there.
Oh,
there's
Lumix
a lot
is
of
in the piss here.
momentum.
At least they've got the kite away most of the way.
On. It's just really hoping when you're at that stage, isn't it?
Oh.
You are putting every bit of power you have, thinking fat.
And there's no chance you can go back in to get the jib off. It's like, just hold on, boys. We're going to swing this one down.
Yeah, so they would just had to go the other side of the mark there. So this is pretty costly for them.
Yeah, this is a huge one. So they're going to go for a jibe in a sec once they're all settled. And they're
tacking. Granny tacking.
Wow, I didn't know it was that windy.
Couldn't get us.
No,
that's definitely the
safe option.
It's definitely the fastest way to the mark.
Yeah, so because if they would have jibed, they would have been below lay and had to sail upwind and not have had a nice tight rounding. So Desotto's come in for a jibe drop. Nice safe so far. So we'll see how it goes. There has been a couple of problems down the bottom here. I think everyone's underestimating the breeze.
As you said, Matt, it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, Matt, that I observe is when it's really puffy, like you can be in a really light patch and just have your mind set there and then get a puff, which, you know, doubles the breeze, and you get caught out.
Exactly. It's quite hard to change your mental state once it goes from 5 knots to 10 knots. You don't think it's a huge increase, but it's a 100% increase, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the apparent changes is what really stuffs with you.
Yeah.
So further up the course, we had Smeg, the only boat to tack out early, and they're headed up in the middle of the course. I can't exactly see how far up what's happened since then, but they're looking pretty good. Bit of an increase as we head further up here.
Was just saying how right the breeze has gone. Yandu went round tight on the mark and they have laid Towler Bay. So, and the boats are DeLonghi in front of them, and so is Noakes Youth. Keegan's also laid, but he's elected to keep going that way. So he's gone all the way up to the second point. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out for him. So on the screen at the moment we've got Panasonic Lumex. They look quite comfortable just going through the bottom of the screen there onto Rag and Famish Hotel, who look super comfortable with their brand new rig this year. Coming from the boat that they had last year to this boat, they've sailed a whole lot better, so good on them.
Well, this is going to be a really quick lap, guys, because this is going to be like a 3-tack at this stage, basically a 3-tack beat.
You're only going to do 3 tacks.
Two little short ones to the right sort of thing, and big long starboard tacks.
Well, in saying that, the pressure's increased as well, so it's going to make it go even faster. Like I was going to say, there's probably more pressure that there was than on the downwind at the bottom, so I think we've probably got 8 to 10 knots again, so they're going to be...
Yeah.
Smeg has probably got the lead. Vintech's just going through the bottom of the screen there. Next. Well, in the distance you can see Smeg and Finport. It looks quite tight up there. What do you think, Liv?
Yeah, they definitely took different lines. Smeg was in the middle of the course, whereas Finport stayed to the left-hand shore. Smeg tacked in front of Finport. I couldn't tell whether it was to leeward or on their line. Finport's now heading off to the left, just on
Bounce that
attack,
to the
back
left.
onto starboard, and Smeg's heading off to that eastern shore towards Nielsen Park.
They've got Noakes Youth again. They actually look quite down, so Lee's done the right thing here by going back to the east, but Noakes Youth have tacked back and they are well and truly down compared to the last lap. So that's just saying how much you have to get right and try to pick a long line. Just have clear breeze the whole way across and it'll make the leg a lot better. Noakes Youth on the screen still, just wandering away, getting around that fishing boat, coming into pressure and pretty close to Kitchen Maker. So, yeah, so I think they've gained there. I'm not sure if Kitchen Maker's lost or Noakes Youth have gained. So, but good on Noakes Youth if they have gained. So.
Yeah, they've definitely come close together, these two boats, from the bottom. Noakes Youth just crossing a few lengths behind Kitchen Maker, in nice pressure heading off to the right hand side of the course. Just a little bit further up, we can... Yeah, so we just got Noakes Youth about to head into some really nice pressure here. They're looking pretty comfortable, eyes out of the boat, ready for it to hit. They don't want anything to be a surprise to them. They want to know what's going on.
Going up for attack here. Their crew work's come a long way because from what I've been hearing, they've been training most Tuesday afternoons down at Des Moines. So they put a bit of time and effort into their sailing, and today it's shown how much better you can be. So.
Well, as you guys well know, there's just no substitute. You just can't sail these things with different people each week. Yeah. And takes a lot of coordination, and once you get that done, you can have your head out of the boat, and that makes all the difference.
Well, Keegs might be an exception today, but in saying that, he's had Adam Minter on, I think, 3 times this year, so he's pretty comfortable in the boat. So, and they've been mates for a long time, so maybe this a good connection helps them.
So Noakes Youth was just crossing again behind Kitchen Maker on opposite tacks, and they're now headed off to the left-hand side of the course, looking really comfortable, happy in the boat, all together, right up the front of the wing. Look at that shot.
Drone works fantastic.
So just a bit of a wind update here. It's a little bit lighter to moderate. A couple of teams are having to crouch every now and then. Got a little bit of a left shift. So DeLonghi just coming into the picture, about to first launch off some waves and then get into some pressure.
Well, the further they go right, I reckon the better the pressure's going to get. I think Lee's on the outside of the shift. Keegs is going into a bit of a hole over there, so I think DeLonghi could do quite well over this side of the course.
Yeah, so there's just a little crouch for them. Stretch back out, getting into some new pressure lines.
Smeg looks quite high coming onto screen here. They look like they're just going to bend up as they go along. So I think they're going to put quite a few metres here on Finport.
Yeah, Smeg's definitely taken the lead here. They're probably the same distance that Finport was ahead of them at the bottom. Yeah. Smeg's now ahead of Finport. So, you know, when we said it was going to go light, we knew that Lee was going to be coming into his own. And he's really proved that. So that's a nice little right-hander for him there. Finport's just to leeward of them on the screen. So you can see they've just tacked onto port and now going to have to cross behind Smeg.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a big loss here considering how right the pressure's gone. DeLonghi's still going out towards Nielsen Park there, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes against DeLonghi here, because
Yeah, Smeg, tight cover. Not going to let Finport get to the right of them. He wants to protect that right-hand side.
He wants to protect the lead. The hand is on the throat, getting ready to kill. The longy's just tacked off Nielsen Park there. I think Keegan's going to cross ahead, so...
Yeah, it gets really puffy as we head up towards South Head and Watson's Bay. You can see on the screen with Smeg that 1 second they've got a big left-handed lift, and then the next minute they start crouching and just stopping the momentum of the rig going from one side to the other. Try and maintain flow over the sails through all these transitions.
Well, this is also a new rig setup on this boat. I don't know if you guys have spoken about it in the last couple of weeks. They've gone to a single spreader rig, so that could be also the difference today in why they're going so well. I know I've been away for the last couple of weeks, but I haven't seen this mast yet, so obviously today it's working.
You can see they've been quite aggressive and just, as you said, putting in a cover there, then finding one little puff to get back to the left, or get further up towards the mark. So really working hard at hooking up the dots.
It's interesting. You look at the top mark now. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's not much wind up there. And in Watson's Bay, over to the right of the Smeg, it looks like there's good breeze in there. So it's going to be really interesting coming into the top mark here.
Yeah, Smeg's just been surfing these waves since they tacked onto starboard, so I think that definitely helped in their decision of timing when to tack.
Yeah.
Good little gain that no one else could really get. It's really streaky up here, like 2 boat lengths to the right of where Smeg is right now. There is a beautiful line of breeze, but they just weren't in it.
Yeah.
Up ahead of them, they've got a nice little puff. It's really just about keeping the boat going. You can see lots of crew movement in and out, forward, back, trying to keep the boat as central in the water as you can.
And being a bowman, you're always in the wrong spot from where the skipper wants you to sit. But Steve's always doing a good job. Look at him go there. With his bionic knee as well. Every time he gets in the shower, he pulls his wetsuit off and there's a whole frame around his left knee, I think it is. So, for how much work he's doing now, I think he's doing a great job with that injury. Going to a big header there.
Yeah, big hole.
They might be looking for attack, so I'm not sure here.
I'm just looking behind, and Finport is aiming at Smeg's stern a long way back. So that's definitely been a transition thing for Smeg. A good win there, nice advantage.
Yeah.
Both shift, transitioning, and basically choosing the right time to tack. Choosing the right time to go with your strategy rather than playing tactics.
Yeah. Just on the top mark as they come in, Keegan might get the back end of it. There's a bit of a line coming through, so we've got to see how that goes, because it looks like Lee's going into I wouldn't say a hole, but it just looks lighter on that left-hand top shore. So I think the top right's going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah, so Smeg will be setting up to tack really soon. They're coming up to that ley line to the top. Any minute now, they're looking quite light. And that just would be absolutely punishing, knowing that you're really light and your competitors are in more pressure, but you got to do less tacks. You can't come back and try and get a piece of it.
You can't tack for the other side of the course.
No, it's gone.
Yeah. So Keegan's probably got like 10 degrees on him at the moment, so we'll just see.
And pressure, Matt.
Yeah.
And better pressure.
Yeah.
They're pulling 3 strings, Smeg's down to 2 strings.
Exactly.
And look at the boat speed difference. You can see it noticeably if you can pick up both boats. I think this is going to put Finport back into the league. It's going to be tight. Headed. It's just got headed.
Mooch along is going to be an issue here as well, so Keegan's going to have a blow up with that.
Yeah.
But there's
the president.
Yeah.
The president. Bad president.
Yeah.
Okay, Smeg tax.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong mark.
Yeah, me too.
I think we all were, to be honest. Yeah, no, we were behind the 8 ball on that one.
Yep, we thought, I didn't know there was a mark here until today, so we've learned something new.
There we go.
Because at this mark here, there is a great pressure line about to hit. And I'm like, oh, the boys have gone to the wrong mark. But no,
No, Matt. Never doubt Lee.
Yeah, right, yeah, I know, right? Smeg's gone around, and the pressure that I was talking about, they're about to get in about 15, 20 seconds, and I reckon they're going to be out of here.
Yeah.
They're going to be going straight to Clark Island, but they're so far down, it's going to be interesting.
Well, they've got to go around Shark, so there's a lot of east in it, so it's going to be a little bit about like the first downwind leg, but there's just not much pressure, so it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, no.
So it all settles down. We've made gooses of ourselves there for a second.
Yeah.
Finport now around in second.
Finally got the kite up, Gus. Still flapping. Taking notes, don't worry, Gus. Really light here on the Smeg. They've kind of got 2.5 on the wire, nearly 3. So
just looking at the top mark.
Yeah, we've got in the shot. We've got top left is Smeg, Finport dead in the water behind them.
The longies just coming up to the mark. You'll see them. Yeah. There's their bow. So they're sitting in third.
There's a bit of a gap between first and second. So Smeg and Finport have done an absolute stellar job of getting away from the fleet.
Smeg especially, like they extended there, but DeLonghi just round in quite a nice pressure. Yeah. They're pretty loaded up there, so if they can get the kite up quick enough and take advantage of it, they might be able to catch up. Finport's been really light this whole time.
So Keegan looking pretty comfy, squished up the front, squatting sitting on the outside wing bar. Gus is stretched with all 6'2" of him.
And at the top mark, I don't know if it's in shot. No, it's not, but Noakes Youth has got ahead of the kitchen maker, so they've done well.
Yeah,
they've had a good beat.
They've all nearly overlaid it here because it's gone so far into the east.
Yeah,
they didn't think it was going to go that far east, and it just kept bending them round and round and round.
There's just pockets like DeLonghi was becalmed there for a second. Now they just pulled away. They're down 40, 50 degrees and got pressure.
Good puff back to it in a sec. DeLonghi should hook into it now. It should be away. They're just about to get this puff. It's going to be they're going to be away in this one. They're going to bounce away from this front pack because it looks like the two boats behind them are quite light. So it's going to be good to see them pop away from the other two. They're all stepping back in the boat, making them look fantastic as usual.
Yeah, there's just a consistent line of pressure that that's kind of kept with them down this run. And it's not running out anytime soon. No.
We'll just not in the stride at the moment, but looking right down the bay, they are absolutely...
They've gone.
There.
We'll let Noakes Youth go by and then the kitchen maker, and then we'll go up and pick up our leader.
Watch them all coming to the bottom.
Yeah, it's all pretty split up, really. Yeah. If there's a battle towards the front, it's really between DeLonghi, Noakes Youth and the kitchen maker.
Yeah. But in saying that, it's going to be interesting going around the island because they're not on screen at the moment, but Smeg and Finport are just leaning right over trying to get some height. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really puffy as they get further and further down here. Kitchen maker on screen here, looking really comfortable. Phil's doing a great job trimming that chute. Sam's doing a spectacular job. Scott making them all feel comfortable. It's great.
Noakes Youth just cruising along there. They'd be one of the lighter crews that we've got out on the racecourse today, so in these really tight reachy situations they're going to be the ones that lose the most, I think. They'll be trying to put heaps of money in the bank. Yeah, you can just see Tim arm out, trying to get as far out as he can.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, as we said from the first lap, the further under the point you can get, because it's so far east in the bay, it's actually going to be a big gain. There's not going to be as much of a wind shadow under there today. Normally you want to try in a normal nor'easter, miss the point, drive around the outside of everyone and just flog around the point, but I don't think you'll be able to do that today. So Smeg's actually doing it quite a good. I'm not sure if they're on camera.
We're just coming up to them now, Matt. So the drone's just following where we're heading to the front with Smeg and Finport. So Smeg has just tried to sail as high as they can once they got into the lee of this headland.
Well, the next problem they're going to have is that yacht. If they go underneath it, it's going to be a long way to go underneath it, but I know the yacht's born away for them. That's lucky for the boys.
Good bloke.
Yeah, thank God there's one of them out here.
So yeah, Smeg was looking quite comfortable now, being able to round Shark Island. Finport on the screen,
Keys,
big pressure.
Go, Gus, big arms, son.
Big pulls, Gus. And then it goes light for them. This is the race course today, guys. Yeah. It is up and down, left, right.
I was getting all nervous when we first got out here, and it was going to be a cranking nor'easter.
Well, we weren't looking forward to it, man. We weren't that nervous.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of like, kind of wish I was sailing, but looking at how east and how all over the shop.
Smeg is loaded up here. Just trying to get as much height as possible, get around Shark Island.
I think they're just going to get around before they have to bear away, so.
Yeah, going light for them here, which is, thank goodness.
But they've done a great job of keeping some in the bank just in case anything happens.
Exactly. It's just what you've got to do.
But there's not much room between the Buoy and the island and Australia, so.
Yeah, that was, a conscious decision to put some money in the bank and stay high. You don't, on a day like today, you just don't want to risk not being able to make it because it's very costly, as we saw on the first run.
Yeah, exactly.
Just getting a new pressure line there, Smeg.
Keegan's coming in real hot behind us. She's going to have pressure all the way in. Lee looks quite light at the moment compared to what Keegan's about to be in.
And just behind Keegan, I don't know if you can see it, but DeLonghi's just been sitting head to wind with the spinnaker flapping. Not quite sure what happened. They're now sailing downwind. Yeah, you can just see it on the screen further back. They're very lit up now behind that yacht, but they definitely lost. I'm not quite sure whether it was a light wind moment or what happened, but gave Kitchen Maker an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Noakes Youth had to drop their kite, so they are one of the lighter crews, as we said before, so they've had to drop their kite. Just watching Finport round the mark now.
Well, usually if it's tight like it was across this one, it's going to be loose on the next one, so it's good to go all the way into the rocks there and try to skim the moorings and get around Point Piper.
Yeah, with Noakes Youth having to knock that chute off, that's going to, or if we can come around, pick it up.
Well, I don't think it's going to cost them that much because these two are going to have to drop as well.
DeLonghi and the Kitchen Maker have got plenty on, and Noakes Youth comes in. This is a really good battle for third place.
If Noakes Youth can just scrape around with the kite up, it's going to be good compared to the guys behind them on the Kitchen Maker, because they're going to have to stop and drop pretty much. So from this stage, Keegan made me once flap the kite around and we made it upright. So
yeah, we've got her on screen.
Yeah.
The Kitchen Maker's just going to try and flag it.
They're not even flagging it. They're just trying to roll. This is great. As we can see on the screen, they're finally flogging it to get around. I don't think it went as well as what we planned. This is going to... They might be in the piss here. Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone.
That's day over.
Just massive lee helm, lost the rudder, massive lee helm, lost the bow, and then the Kitchen Maker has to get around the top of them.
This is going to be good. Nice puff on them.
So they've got a big risk of going up on the bricks here, because they've got to get the boat up, or get the chute down, get the boat up before they get blown on the rocks. Noakes Youth, really conservative, done a great job, got that chute off early, and they've gone back in front of the Kitchen Maker. Kitchen Maker's in trouble, I can see it.
Scotty's face, he's got a bit of a smile on his face, Scotty. He's like, "Ooh, this is a big call."
Okay, he's
Noakes
good.
Youth did a stunning job there.
Yeah. I think we'll stick with this battle because Smeg's going to win this. Finport will be second.
Yep.
And the battle is for the last spot on the podium between the Kitchen Maker and Noakes Youth.
Yeah, so it's going to be tight. It's going to be a bit of a match race here. So we've got a good battle just behind them. There they are. Woody on the Andu, Triple M and Asko. They've all had to drop shoots early to get around the point. They're all going to have to set and do a windward set on the mark. So it's going to be very, very tight here. So Asko's trying to go for the roll over the top of the three. Yandu's going to just round his mark and try to set his shoot as fast as possible. Triple M's going to might be sandwiched in the middle here. Could be very interesting.
And this could be the race of the forward hands here.
Yeah,
got
definitely.
Berger, the old fella up the bow. They've got two young colts in Triple M and Asko. Berger's got it. The old boy's got the best suit.
Exactly.
He's going to have to drive here, though. He's going to have to drive early or he gets stuck under these boats. Or has Yandu done enough?
He might do a lured roll here, just depending on how Asko goes.
They've done enough. The old fella.
Yep.
The old team done enough.
Old
awesome
bull, young
job.
bull, that's all it is.
All right, we'll go and pick up this battle for third place.
Asko's got a bit of tear in their shoot as well, so that's not going to help them. Triple M has just had a halyard stuck under the forestay, so that is frustrating. They might not be able to get past those two. Looking ahead, we've got Noakes Youth and Kitchen Maker.
So Noakes Youth's just been punching forward along this. I think we've got one of the heaviest crews against one of the lightest crews here. Scotty Babbage is just absolutely sending it, and I think the Noakes Youth boys are just trying to hold in.
They're doing everything they can to think that.
Absolutely everything. It really will mean the difference between third and fourth. This moment. It's not
I think
looking
he's
good
just
for
got
the
the roll.
Noakes.
Yeah, it's going to be. If they can just hold on and lead the jibe back, it could be good for them. But I think Scotty's just rolled.
Yeah, so there we go. So Kitchen Maker just rolled Noakes Youth.
If Noakes Youth can hold them past the lay and not allow them to jibe, this could be an interesting race.
Yeah, it was a good time for it to happen in regards to there being a lot of up pressure. We've got maybe 13 knots, 12 knots, which meant that there wasn't too much dirty air for the boys on Noakes Youth. Now it's absolutely going to be whoever jives the best.
Yeah, whoever jives the best and picks the best lay is going to win this next race.
Exactly. Whoever picks the lay correctly, and then they're both going to heat up out of the jibe. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
So wind the wheel and run hard. Not a good time
Kitchen
for
Maker's
Noakes Youth.
jibed. I think they're under lay here.
Noakes Youth just crashed in a little bit to windward, a little bit of a light patch, so it gave Kitchen Maker the right opportunity to jibe. Good work from Scott to pick that.
Yeah, Scotty's picked a good lay here. As again, I'm not allowed to pick lays in our boat.
Yeah, so Kitchen Maker looks to be coming in for third place here. So here we go. There we have it. We have Kitchen Maker just about to cross the finish line. All clear.
There we go.
All clear.
Sam
Little
Mills, Bill
jibe.
Marshall and Scott have done a great job to hold that back. Noakes Youth did an absolute pearler job to get their kite down early and have a nice clean rounding around the wing mark.
Yep, so the Kitchen Maker, Scotty Babbage, wins the fight for the final place on the podium, but you've got to say what a great job from Kirk Mitchell and his boys.
Yeah.
I mean, against a lot more experienced heads, kept his cool, not doing anything silly. I mean, just conservative, staying in touch and just doing an awesome job and getting better each week.
Yeah.
So there was a really good battle between Yandu, Asko and Triple M around that wing mark. Yandu's really close to Point Piper. Asko is close to Clark Island, and Triple M got a little bit left behind there with their spinnaker set that Matt was talking about.
Yeah.
Asko is coming in with the goods. They're going to come in 5th place.
They're hot and spicy, as Liv was saying before.
You'll see them just come into the screen on the left. There we go. So that's a really good effort from these boys. they'll be really disappointed to lose the lead once they capsized around that bottom mark. But to come back and still sit in 5th place, I think is a really good credit to their teamwork.
Exactly.
They've been up there most races, and they'll be disappointed with that mishandling error. But I think it shows that they're really working well together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, James Doran, I expect him to do well as the year goes on, and just a bit of consistency, and he'll be there fighting for podiums, that's for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. Harry Bethwaite's done a lot of yacht sailing and a lot of skiff sailing in his past, and so has Monty, so they're a pretty hot team. If they can pull it all together for the JJs, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, so Triple M just crossing behind Yan Du there. Next coming up, we've got Rag and Famish, Quality Marine Clothing with the little rig, and then Vintech coming in on the opposite yard.
Vintech is on port. I don't think they're crossing and not laying the pin, so they're going to be doing one more into the bottom.
Yeah, they've got to give Quality Marine Clothing room there.
Yeah.
So
just
that was
them on
Rag
the
and Famish, then Quality Marine Clothing, and then Vintech.
Rag and Famish have come a long way back, because on that first lap around the bottom they were nearly in last, so they've done an absolute stellar job to come back to that spot.
All right, well, I think that'll do us for the day. It's consolation prize goes to DeLonghi, that was doing so well up until the final turning mark at Shark Island and put it in the tide, and so really bad luck for Simon Nern and his team. But we had a great battle, very tricky day. Great to have Matt out for your debut on the Camera Cat.
Thank you, guys. It's been great.
Hope you're back on the other boat soon. You're driving me mad. Only kidding. No, great to have you out. And Olivia, to have you out again, fantastic. Thanks very much. And to the guys at the back, to Aero Media, to Chits and to Blake, great job. A lot of work to put this boat together every Sunday, and really appreciate it. Okay, we'll see you for race 3 of the New South Wales State Championships next Sunday. Hope you enjoy the show.